Selamat datang ke studio Ceri Kembang. Untuk episod special yang kedua ini, kita akan bincangkan tentang budaya membaca. So, with me today in the studio, I have two guests.
I am Dheeraj and I'd like to thank you guys for inviting me to Ceri Kembang studio. Appreciate it.
Hi, aku Zuhair. Aku dah kat sini dah, just that aku behind the scene lah, but it's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so basically hari ni kita nak cakap pasal budaya membaca kan. Adakah budaya membaca ni tengah merosot right in the Malaysian culture? So from what I know, Dheeraj and Zuhair are both love reading, right?
Kind of lah, boleh lah.
Okay.
I would not say I love lah, I'm not an avid reader.
Yeah,
I read a couple of books. Yeah.
Okay, so benda first aku nak tanya Zuhair, what
Yeah.
actually made you fall in love with reading?
Actually macam when I was my teenage year lah, macam waktu high school, aku tak minat pun baca ni. Aku nampak aja macam nerd, like geek, pakai spek mata and people always thought that I read a lot of books, but the truth is I'm not lah. But during high school, like most of us kan, kita dipaksa untuk membaca like this novel like Kasut Kelopak Jantung, 620, Catch Us If You Can, and banyak lagi dah. Kita dipaksa sebab kita ditrain untuk menjawab soalan. Kalau kita tak baca, memang kita memang tak boleh nak buat lah kan. So eventually start membaca kat situ, and some of the story does like go under my skin, and aku pun develop like to baca. And then after SPM is stop for a while, but somehow in a turning point in my life, macam tiba-tiba aku suka baca buku, but not the novel kind of thing, not like novel or like novel setebal macam ni lah. I like to read like self-enrichment book lah, buku-buku yang ada macam banyak good quotes yang there's values, and also like you know like basically like it can teach you how to become a better person, do a decision making, you know like that kind of thing lah. So I keep on reading it, like for now dah boleh lah nak kata more than 10 books, all this self-enrichment book. Aku tak beli, kadang-kadang aku baca daripada kakak aku punya, daripada kawan aku punya. Sometimes kalau rajin mungkin like I go to the library during my KMK and my uni, just like pick one book and then baca. Tapi tak habis pun tak apa, but I do gain a bit of an input lah, and then it really like helps me to become a better person, and my vocabulary pun macam makin better and getting like memang beza lah daripada nak dibandingkan waktu aku sekolah menengah dengan like this moment. Memang aku like I'm kind of proud of myself lah, macam aku dapat you know improve in that kind of way, because I never expect to like you know turn to be like you know reading this book macam 200-300 pages and all that, but I did it, so it's kind of good lah. But then like not just that buku self-enrichment aku baca, I do read like a bit of Harry Potter tapi tak habis lah, because still the minat tak situ. And then I read like buku travelling, buku like you know knowledge like National Geographic. My father used like macam dia subscribe for this National Geographic
the magazines, right?
Yeah. You like not every week lah, every month you will come to our house and I'll be the person to buka and then like baca.
Skip through the pages lah.
Yeah, skip through the pages, and then baca lah juga a bit like the frontline cover about the people that living in this area and all, about this experience guy like ventured to the unknown and go to this macam interesting lah. I very like
it makes you experience new things lah.
Itulah.
What is it like being in another person's shoes? Going here.
So something like that lah, memang macam catch my attention.
Okay, so basically macam Zuhair suka membaca things that inspire you.
Yes.
Right? So you like to read because it inspires you to be a better person, or inspire you to do something, like get more interest.
Bit of both lah, macam tu lah.
Alright. So that's actually a kind of good reason to start reading. Okay. So actually, Dheeraj?
For me, I mean, like I said previously, I'm not an avid reader at all. So I mean, I just started reading very late on, my teenage years.
Yeah. I'm sure you started. I see like there's a lot of books you brought.
Yeah, not really lah. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a bookworm.
Okay.
So what really got me started reading was I actually brought the first book I actually read. It's a non-fiction book. It's the Autobiography of Malcolm X.
Okay.
It's he's an African American minister of the Nation of Islam. He's actually a human rights advocate and a civil rights movement. You know, he's a leader, a spokesman of the Nation of Islam. What made me really like this book is because he was nobody at first. He was a drug peddler, an addict, and you know, he robs people for a living.
Oh,
at first.
really?
Yeah. And once, I mean, the moment he ended up in jail, that's when he started to, you know, reform himself, and he became a legend. I mean, he's dead already. He got assassinated. Until today, we don't know who exactly assassinated him. But that's what really got me started reading his book. It's a really interesting book. I would recommend everybody read this book.
Alright,
Take note, guys.
And yeah, I mean, like you said just now, there are a lot of benefits to reading. One is, of course, it helps you with your vocabulary, your cognitive abilities, and yeah, it helps you with your concentration as well. And yeah, emotional intelligence also. You can get to socialize people better, and you've got things that you read and you can talk about to people. Yeah, I mean, but enough about us.
Dia macam autobiography tu macam story based or
Yeah, it's basically about his life, Malcolm X, a story about his life.
dia punya perspektif apa?
His own perspective lah.
His own perspective. Yeah.
So
he
this
wrote
book
his book.
was-
He wrote his book with the help of an author.
Okay.
He hired a guy. So
Alright.
he got assassinated. I think a few months before this book was released.
Oh.
Yeah, he was in a nation of Islam. Back in the United States, they had this thing. Yeah. So I mean, but enough about us. What got you started?
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan of Harry Potter books and all that.
Yeah.
Cuba cerita sikit.
Actually, right. I'm like, if Dheeraj is not a bookworm, I'm lagi teruk aku mahu sekolah baca lah. Okay.
Stop being so modest.
Yeah.
No. Honestly lah. Macam, okay, contohnya masa kat sekolah dulu kan. Aku tak habis-habis sekolah dulu kan. Okay lah, like during high school, like there was this trend where in my school, everyone walks around with books, you know. Like everyone has a novel in their hand. Okay, especially like I brought a few today. Okay, these are like one of the most famous books back then, Mr. Midnight. I'm sure most of you heard about it.
Everyone
Okay?
should know.
It has a lot of it, and I really,
Mr. Mystery.
yes, I really love the Mr. Midnight collection, you know, because it's even though it's not a true story, like
It's a fictional lah basically.
right, it's a fictional book. But the thing is, like, okay, like contohnya Dheeraj said, right, okay, if you read like these types of books, you will increase your vocabulary and everything, right? But books like this, you know, it increases your imagination skills, you know, because you would like to put yourself in the
Person shoes.
person's shoes to understand what he's going through, okay? And then if you want, like, I'm not sure this is true stories or not, even though it's titled True Singapore Ghost
Yeah, but
Stories.
most of the stories there sounds a bit,
Sounds a bit
bullshit,
wonky,
right?
a bit wonky lah. But you know, like author's perspective. So also books that I read when I was young. Okay, so actually these are the books that started, not to say interest, like because everyone was doing it, you know.
Yeah, Mr. Midnight
Yeah.
was like a trend back then. Remember in school and all that. Yeah, Mr. Midnight,
2012,
Mr. Mystery.
2011. No, it's like a thing, you know. Everyone heard of it. You know, I'm not sure if you guys heard of it or not, but
Dengar lah.
dengar.
He used to come. The author used to come to
Yeah,
Malaysia.
you'll come
He
for
will
the
sign
signing.
books, but he will come incognito lah.
Yeah.
He won't show his face.
Kalau tak silap pun in every library kat sekolah pun mesti ada.
Yeah,
This
ada,
Mr.
yeah.
Midnight.
Betul.
Guarantee ada.
Okay. And then I grow older. I enter asrama, right? And then everyone was walking around with this book. Okay, this
And what's
author
that?
Ramli Awang Mursyid. Okay,
Ramli Awang Mursyid.
okay, this is a Malay book. Okay, but this author is one of the best authors in Malaysia.
Mind if I have a look?
Yeah, sure.
Kerana cinta aku ni.
Okay, but
Memang betul ayat dia.
on this author, I love to read the horror ones. Okay, I read one book back then. It's called Asrama. I'm telling you, that was like one of the best books I ever read.
It's the same,
Same
author.
author.
Lah. But is this his well-written one? Or
This is also one of his well-written
This one, the genre is
also
what?
this Cipta Sang Ratu.
Wow.
cinta about
It's
love
like
and all that.
yeah,
lah.
typical Malay books lah.
But
right?
you like his horror books. And
I like the way he explained the story.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and then like you said earlier, Harry Potter. Okay, like Harry Potter is something that I loved back then. You know, because
J.K. Rowling.
my brother had this whole set of the books, and I used to read it. You know, and the story was very interesting. You know, and then especially when I started watching the movies also, it was very relatable because, like I said, you imagine everything. Okay,
It helps you understand the movie.
it helps you
better lah.
understand the movie, but the movies are not as detailed as the books. You know.
Yeah, that's
Betul,
always the
betul.
case. Yeah.
Right? So actually that's what got me reading lah. So why do you think like the budaya membaca in Malaysia is going down? Why do you think it's hard for people to get their hands on novels and books?
Okay.
Yeah, actually, if you ask me, I mean, everybody reads. I mean, you can ask. I mean, everybody reads. Even our friends, our parents as well. They read and all that. You know, old people they read. They read news. They read articles online. I mean, on Twitter and all that, you've got all these threads. I mean, talking about my
My ex.
toxic ex. You know, my heartbreak story and all that. we read all these things. You know why?
Yeah.
Because it seems interesting at that point because we're too bored and we read it, and we got something to talk about later when we go out and talk to
Hang out with friends and
hang out
all.
with friends and all that. So
But-
actually, I would not say that that everybody stops. I mean, everybody stopped reading. Actually, until today, everybody reads. The thing is, they don't really read books much.
Okay, I want to ask you something. Okay, something just interests me here. Okay, like Zuhair said just now. Okay, it's hard for you to read something that's 200 page over, but
Yeah.
somehow you got over it, right?
Yeah.
And then you were telling that everyone reads. Okay, they read threads and everything. Do you think the reason they engage themselves into the thread in reading them is because it's short? And most people don't want to start reading because they don't have the patience to go through the whole story.
That can also be a fair point also, but then
Yeah.
I would say that the main reason people don't read is because it don't interest them. Like if let's just say you got a chick on Twitter, she's freaking pretty, and she start writing about she posted a thread about her ex and all that.
Okay.
That definitely will pull you in, right?
Yeah,
That will make you
exactly,
indulge
exactly.
in
Yeah,
her
interest
thread, right?
lah.
Because
Okay.
why? Because you wanna know about her life.
I get your point.
Because see that pulls your interest. That makes it interesting.
Exactly.
So what the problem people have is that nowadays they don't read is because they haven't found a book or anything that
They can
make them indulge themselves.
Mhm.
Like you said, because I mean, reading you gotta go out of your comfort zone and find books that are not within your, how should I put it, not within your
comfort zone.
your interest lah.
Okay, okay.
Not within your interest.
Okay.
So that's the reason why you gotta just read. That's the whole point of reading, right? No? You read because you wanna experience new things. You wanna learn about new things. You wanna seek knowledge. But then knowledge, I mean, after reading a book, it goes away. The knowledge that you've learned, right, it goes away.
Only just a percentage of
Yeah,
that
because
sticks.
you know why? The knowledge that only knowledge that you use sticks with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of
Okay.
the books you read, you don't really use the knowledge that you've learned there.
Okay, so Zuhair, I have a
Mhm.
question for you. Okay, when it comes to reading, right, most
Yeah.
people think the culture is dropping, right? Tak ramai orang baca buku sekarang. But actually, if you look at it right, it's actually not because people are not reading, it's because it's evolving. Have you heard of audiobooks?
Yeah, aku pernah dengar agak, but I haven't get my hands on one of it.
Okay,
For
so
now lah.
but you know what it is, right?
Yeah.
So actually, what's your thoughts on audiobooks compared to novels, physical novels like this?
Bagi aku lah, my perspective, people macam sekarang ni kan kind of busy and all, this era, sometimes people macam tak ada masa nak baca, nak sit down. So basically maybe in the subway, people crowded and all, dia tengah berdiri, tak nak duduk. Maybe he open this this audiobook yang Han cakap,
Yeah.
and then keeps letak some earbuds and then keep on listening and then dengar, and then imagine things, something like that. Maybe it's one of the things, the factors that people can use untuk luangkan masa diorang macam is it considered membaca? I'm not sure, but it's one of it lah macam sekarang the trends is. But I don't think it's a big thing in Malaysia lah, in my perspective lah.
Because if you ask me, I feel that I don't think it's membaca. Because you see, it's different things. A story can be put in words, hearing, or even visual.
Yeah.
So you can't say going to a movie to watch. Okay, like I said, Harry Potter, right? You can't say that if you watch the movie, you read the book, right? Reading is something different. Listening is something different. Watching is something different.
Visualizing is something different.
Right.
So.
So, do you think it's a loss in the community right now that people have stopped reading books like this, even though it's just the same
Aku
content?
rasa tak. Aku rasa sebab dia basically storytelling tau. Storytelling transcends zaman tau. Daripada ancient sampai
Yeah.
sekarang kan. Jadi dia yang berubah dia adalah cara
The way the stories.
The way of the storytelling.
Sekarang ni movies, audiobook pun, buku,
Visual novels.
Ya, jadi aku rasa dia just storytelling yang main theme dia yang buku and so on.
Tapi kan, okay, contoh lah, if I'm quoting storytelling, right? What do you think is lost in the process of evolution? What do you think is lost? I mean, like physical books. What do you think is really lost in the process of evolution if everyone decided to move to audiobooks?
So I can't say anything for sure about that.
Betul.
But I mean, all I can say is the reason why we don't get physical books because in Malaysia books are freaking expensive.
Yeah.
You know, once I went to Kinokuniya, that was my first time going to Kinokuniya because that was the only place where they had, like
tons and books.
I mean, a lot of books there,
Yeah.
a lot of different genres and all that.
I've
You
been to Big Bad Wolf exhibition.
Big Bad Wolf, yeah, that's not bad as well. But you know, when you go to like the one in KLCC in Kinokuniya, the books there are freaking expensive.
How
My
much?
first time there, imagine I bought 5 books only, you know, 270 ringgit. I mean, I didn't mind the money because the books that I bought were damn good. But then, you see, it's a luxury to buy books, you know, it's because that's how expensive it is. That's the reason why people don't buy books, because the prices in Malaysia, it's overwhelming lah.
Because for my case, like the self-enrichment book that I bought, kadang-kadang memang mencekik darah agak 60 ringgit, 50 ringgit.
Yeah, 270 bucks you can get a Dr. Martens here.
Tapi kan sebenarnya, if you look at it in the right perspective, these books are not Malaysian made, right? They are not local books.
Yeah, they're not local.
So the prices are reflected in their currency.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
But why are Malaysians not supporting local authors? I mean, like, even though this is Malay, right? I mean, there's a lot of local authors, literature in English, right?
Yeah.
Novels and all.
I guess so, yeah. I guess because they haven't received that much
Recognition.
publicity wise, you know. Yeah, recognition as well. I don't know, I haven't read any books from Malaysian authors, from our local authors. So
Okay, I said you brought in a few books for us today. Someone
Yeah.
seems excited.
she told me to bring.
So can you explain to me about some of the books that you love reading?
First and foremost, I will start off with Mario Puzo lah. I'm pretty sure you guys heard of Mario Puzo. He's the guy that wrote The Godfather. So I didn't bring the Godfather book today. I don't know where it went. So yeah, these are 2 books from
Same
Mario
author.
Puzo as well. It's one is called Omerta, and the last one. It's a shame that they haven't made these books into a movie yet. Because I think it's the same reason why Godfather.
Is it the?
They almost cancelled Godfather. You know why? Because it was so bloody long.
Yeah.
You know, if the actual book, right, the details from the book were adapted to the movie, right, it would have been 6 hours long.
Oh, how long is the movie right now?
The movie is about 3 hours.
3 hours
3
long.
jam kan? Yeah.
The first one.
But I'm telling you, if these books, right, the last one especially and Omerta, right, the content is damn good. If they were to make it into a movie, it would have been phenomenal. And I also brought another book. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Especially for someone like you, if you like self-enrichment books,
something like this will be
it's
very interesting.
a really good book. This one teaches you how to socialize with people, how to have a good conversation, how to be a good conversationalist lah. You know.
Okay.
So if you're ever having like some problems in engaging into a conversation with someone, I would recommend you to have a read.
Okay, so I know Zuhair loves like self-enrichment books, right?
Yep.
So what's your genre actually? Because I see few here.
I've actually got a lot of genres, but it's definitely not fiction lah. Fiction was during my teenage years. I like reading non-fiction books.
Yeah.
It's these are the only fictional books that I brought here today. The Last Dawn and Meta. I like reading like autobiographies about people and sports.
Like this Malcolm X one.
Yeah, sports biographies and
Right.
true crime stories. Like
Mungkin
typical.
bila kita lagi mantap, kita akan interested in real life.
Yeah, real life stories. Yeah, that's the reason. As you grow older, you want to learn more about
Yeah,
more
I
true
think
things.
because it's inspiring, right? Actually, kalau cakap pasal real life, I read a book once. I think I shared that book to you. It's called The Damage Done.
Damage Done, yeah, by
Okay.
Warren Fellows.
Yep. It's a book about a man who got caught trafficking drugs and was put into prison. I don't want to go in depth detail about the book, but basically he just explained about his life in prison. Okay, and that book was very.
Yeah, it was touching. I read the book. I don't know where it went. Honestly,
It's not
somewhere
just
my
touching,
sister
you know.
took it lah.
It was very engaging, you know. Like I couldn't stop reading. I literally spent 2 days reading a 200-page book. Right, the book was like 200 plus, right?
Yeah, 200 plus. Yeah.
Literally spent 2 days because I couldn't stop reading. The story is so engaging. You know? But when I first picked it up in my father's library, I was like, boring, nothing to do,
It
right?
seemed shady lah at first, but
Right.
when you start reading it,
Because I literally, okay, I'm just gonna put this face, literally, I judged the book by its cover because the cover is not that much interesting. Okay? But when I opened it, I couldn't stop till I reached the last page.
yeah,
So-
it was his experiences in the Chiang Mai prison and the famous prison with the what is it called?
The Big Tiger.
Prison. Yeah.
So,
Even
Yeah.
you rasa masa membaca the activity itself, physical activity membaca tu ada something effect macam buatkan lagi nak baca. Mungkin kalau contoh tengok baca dekat phone lain, ada effect lain.
kat dalam phone tu the feel dia different lah.
Yalah.
I don't know how to explain feel dia, tapi
Some
kalau
people-
baca buku dia punya feel berbanding dengan phone different lah. Tak tahu nak cakap sebab phone dia is like a screen, scrolling je, like, buku right, it's uncomfortable to read lah. That's one thing about books. Because you gotta find the perfect position. Kadang-kadang kau baca macam ni kan,
Kadang-kadang
tu tak
baring.
suka position tu, like tak selesa kan, tu tukar. That's one of the cons lah reading books, like physical books, you know?
Tapi kan Zuhair pernah dengar kan, but like digital books.
Yeah.
Right, you tried any of it?
Yeah, through Reddit and all, some people like share the sample, right? So kita baca
Okay.
lah, right? So,
Have you ever tried purchasing any digital books?
Nah, not yet lah for now. Not the
Yeah.
time being aku tak habis
not your cup of tea.
If you can purchase books on Amazon Kindle,
Uh-huh.
and also there's this
Yeah,
one
Amazon
there's this
Kindle.
one application, it's called there's this one website lah, it's called Z Library. Books, all the books there are free. All you have to do is just make an account for those who want to get cheap books or free books lah. You can make an account at Z Library and get the books there. Sometimes read digital books there also.
Okay. So my last question is going to be, okay, I'm just going to shoot it to you, Zuhair. You
Okay.
seem awkward and quiet,
no,
okay?
no, no. I don't
Okay.
have much knowledge about this, but yeah, I just
Yeah,
share
okay. My last question is going to be, right, authors. Okay, we're talking about the consumers, right? We are all consumers. What's your catch on authors? Okay, like yang penulis buku kan, contoh yang kat US lah, negara-negara luar, dia pun maju. So orang beli. Kan kita cakap pasal budaya membaca tengah merosot kat Malaysia. Ada aja banyak penulis buku kat Malaysia. Kan? Tapi saya rasa bidang tu cukup luas kan untuk orang lain masuk dalam bidang tu. Sebab aku rasa banyak je orang ada interest dan mereka ada talent, tapi mereka takut nak masuk ke bidang tu sebab takut kerugian. So what's your catch on that?
For me, like macam kau kata author yang from the western side, right?
Yeah.
All the, but for me, like their storytelling is very good. The way that they imagine their world and all, and then like it's very eye catching ah. Tu yang membuatkan orang suka, and then somehow that it will be adapted into a movie. So when bila this kind of genre, this kind of storytelling, and dia akan menarik minat orang. For me, like for Malaysia punya standard, that is like writing and all. I mean, for now, in my perspective, sorry lah, I see a lot like macam love genres, something like that. So macam benda ni berulang, so it's nothing special. So if like they do like macam something like Christopher Nolan punya storytelling, like maybe the Tenet or maybe the Inception, macam tu menarik minat tau, sebab they will really
What's the guy's name? The guy is
Stephen King.
Stephen King,
Stephen King,
yeah.
Stephen King.
The Shining,
Cakap tak tahu macam buku tahu-tahu
The
lah.
Shining, the It series,
Yeah,
dia
It
buat.
series,
Ha.
yeah.
Actually it's very good tau. Dia punya cerita tu membuatkan orang imagine, and memang ni lah, memang menarik minat orang lah. Kalau Malaysia, I think Malaysia, if they want to like, you know, memajukan diri in that kind of way, they need to approach that kind of feel.
Okay, but okay, like you say, okay, maybe the pool of authors in Malaysia, their content is not as good as contents authors abroad.
Because ada certain authors dalam Malaysia ni lebih fokus tau, nak fokus satu cerita yang
Menarik.
akan producers pilih untuk buat movie atau drama.
Yeah.
Pasal mungkin tu ada jadi settingan juga.
Tapi itulah point aku. Maybe benda yang kita nampak ni kan, input daripada author-author Malaysia. And I'm not saying they are not good. There are a lot of good
Very
authors
good,
out
very
there.
good.
But maybe we are not having a lot of choices because there are people with much more talent afraid to enter the industry because they are thinking it's a dying industry.
Tapi dalam zaman online ni aku tak rasa dia akan
Yeah.
terus malas sebab dia lagi easy untuk orang untuk
Like digital books lah.
Digital.
I mean, in this online world right now, you can write anything and
Yeah,
you can publish
exactly,
it online.
exactly.
Everybody reads anything.
And
It's just
free,
about the
basically.
platform.
Yeah,
Internet.
there's a reason why you gotta make sure the sources that you read from are reliable. You know, like you can't take fake. I mean, like, you know, certain-
Pirated lah.
Yeah, I mean not pirated. Like, you know, people write things like some things are not reliable, some things are not true.
Exactly. Fake
And,
news.
Yeah, when certain people they read it like, oh shit, this is right. Then they start
Forwarding,
Start
spreading.
spreading
Maybe
here and there.
tweeting and all. Yeah.
That's why we gotta be careful with what we read also sometimes.
Okay, so as I know, both of you all love reading.
Not really.
Not really. Not a heavy
Let's just
reader.
not keep it that modest, okay? Okay, but I'm sure you guys encourage reading, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Right?
they should. They should.
Right? Even I encourage reading. So what are your advice
Your 2 cents.
to the viewers right now
The viewers, I mean,
for them to help them start reading is it early age or anything they have to do? Start small.
No, I mean you can start anytime you want. You can start anytime you want. It's not too early, not too late. It's never too late to start. All you gotta do is just pick a book which really pulls you in. Pick something. The reason why you're not reading is because you haven't found the right book for you yet. That's the main reason. That's all. Yeah, you just gotta pick something where you really like. Be it if you like cars, you choose a book which talks
Related
mainly
to
about cars. Yeah.
Alright.
I mean, if you like
Choose something that reflects your interest.
yeah, if you like football, if you like sports in general, choose something which is related to that. It will pull you in somehow.
So
Almost the same thing lah, like try to get out of your comfort zone, try to explore new things, and he said, it's never too late to do the right thing lah. It's never too late to learn new things. So, go out there and try to grab a book, anything lah. Macam like he said, sports, anything for me like self-enrichment. Because I was like attracted to that kind of thing. So yeah, try it. It won't hurt. You won't lose shit. Yeah. In fact, you gain more, and you will, be more confident in a way.
Yeah,
It's definitely not a waste of time. That's all I can say.
Okay. So, if you're coming from my perspective, all I have to say is patience. Because for me, I feel like reading a book takes a lot of patience. Did you agree?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
especially if it's a boring book, then it really
But-
tests your patience.
but actually, right, certain books, it never gets interesting till it's in the middle or the end, or sometimes the start is interesting. You never know until you skim through the whole book.
It takes time to build up. So you gotta
That's
wait.
the thing. Sometimes when you read at the beginning, like, oh shit, buku ni boring. Tapi you need to read because you already bought it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just go through, and then turns out dia jadi best.
Yeah.
Like that lah.
So, untuk aku try lah. Macam honestly aku, and my English is not that good, And
Bullshit.
I never focused in any English classes or what, but honestly, like I said earlier, I was reading in high school. I trained my vocab through books. Why I say, okay, contohnya lah hampa boleh cakap kan. Contohnya kadang-kadang bukan faham pun perkataan tu kan. Lepas tu macam mana nak training, betul tak? Macam baca kamus kan. Tapi sebenarnya, if we love the story, you want to understand the story, like I said, the story is engaging, right? Certain words will make you confused, like, what is he doing? Like, you don't understand.
And then you search.
You will look it up.
Yeah.
You will definitely
Google, right? Yeah.
you will definitely look it up to understand what that meaning is, to understand the book, okay? And that process will become a habit,
Yeah.
right? Certain people I seen read with a dictionary beside them. Okay, contohnya aku nak bagi tahu kawan aku seorang, nama dia Aiman lah. Okay?
Shout out to Iman.
Shout out to Aiman. Masa duduk sekolah menengah dulu, form 1 form 2 kan, dia punya English very bad, teruk gila. Tapi dia suka membaca, and he likes to try. Okay, so he tried reading. Dia suka relate kamus. Dulu Google tak ada famous sangat kan. Famous lah, tapi takkan nak baca buku depan desktop kan. Smartphone
the search engine tak hebat lah waktu tu in a way.
So dia baca dengan dictionary tau. And right now, his English is way better than mine. Okay?
Yeah, it helps hone your language skills lah. That's one thing for sure. If you have any, if you don't really understand certain words, there's Google right there, fingertips.
Oh, no, yeah.
Try pick up a book. You don't need to go like what Dheeraj say expensive. Dia kan pro kan, so dia pilih.
Bro, what?
Dia pilih yang mahal-mahal lah. Hampa try lah pilih yang murah-murah kan.
Sticker.
But it's a good investment lah. Even though it's expensive, it's a really good investment.
It lasts. And then if you're in the reading community actually, even though you buy one book that's expensive, you can actually read 3 or 4 because you can trade it with your friends.
Yeah, it's a worthy investment. Whatever it is, if it's expensive and it's good, it's a worthy investment.
Aku tak macam tu tu.
Tak apa, orang kaya.
Mana ada. Tak ada siapa nak trade buku.
So I think that's it, right? So
Yeah.
do you have anything final to say?
Oh, nothing else.
Nothing else?
Eh, tak ada lah. Aku
Okay.
happy.
So aku rasa itu saja untuk episod special ini. So apa yang kita nak cakap, teruskan membaca.
Keep on reading.
Kalau anda sedang membaca, kalau anda tak suka membaca, pick up a book, start reading. Okay? So that's it from us. See you guys in the next episode. Bye.
See you, bye.
Bye.